Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's your favorite quirky, inconsistent YouTuber, JPR, back with another update video of Pokemon Sword and Shield. I say another like I've actually been making these. I'm sorry, I've been busy with college and all kinds of other stuff. But anyway, today we got a bunch of info from Game Informer, I believe, about Pokemon Sword and Shield. A lot of exciting info, too, and I just was itching to talk about this with somebody, anybody, and wouldn't you know it, all my friends are in class right now, and if anybody knows that feeling, it sucks, so I guess I have to talk to you guys instead. Not that that's a bad thing or anything like that. I love what you guys always have to say to me in the comments section, most of the time. But yeah, I'm genuinely excited to talk about this for the first time in a long time. I haven't actually, there's been, new stuff like Surfetched and whatnot that I've just been like, oh, okay, cool, that exists, but, nothing, amazing that I want to talk about. But I feel like we actually have some really good news here, and I'm just gonna jump right into it with the first big piece of info that I'm sure most of you guys are here for, and that is the fact that in Pokemon Sword and Shield, it has been confirmed that there will be 18 gyms across both versions. Obviously, some will be version exclusive. We already knew that with Alistair being exclusive to Shield, and Bia, I believe that's her name, being exclusive to Sword, the fighting type girl. So we know that some will be exclusive to some versions, and we also learned that some are going to be minor league gyms and others are going to be major league gyms. Now, they didn't really elaborate on that too much, so I don't know, maybe it's like a difficulty path that you choose. Not really a difficulty setting that's built into the game, but just like, oh, if you're a beginner, you take this path with these weaker gyms, or if you're a veteran, you take this path with these stronger gyms. I really like that idea, you know. I think that's really great. It's gonna definitely customize the experience a little bit more, because a lot of people are always like, oh yeah, I get to this gym or this gym or this gym, and everybody's kind of going in the same order most of the time, at least ever since Gen 3 or 4. Everybody's just had the same concrete path. And so I really like that they are adding a little bit of customization to the journey so that your journey won't be the same as everybody else's. And I think that, a lot of people are really excited about this, not just me. But yeah, 18 gyms, that means a gym for every single type, including Dark, which has never had a gym. So hey, look out for that. That's going to be pretty wild. Moving on to the next point, and this shouldn't come as too much of a surprise to anybody watching, but it has finally been confirmed that HMs will not be returning in Sword and Shield. We already kind of knew that. We saw the little Rotom bike in an earlier trailer, or E3, somewhere along the way we saw that, and I was like, okay, cool, that we have a water bike and stuff like that, so I just assumed that, we wouldn't have ride Pokemon, we wouldn't have HMs, but now it's been confirmed, no HMs, which is a godsend. Nobody liked them. Sorry, B-Barrel, whenever there's Diamond and Pearl remakes, you are not going to be needed for your services anymore. Thank you, brave Pokemon. So yeah, no HMs. I know that a lot of you guys probably expected that already, but it's just good to have that confirmation. Now, the next news is something we don't have a lot of clarification on, is that the EXP share is gone, and instead it is going to be a built-in mechanic in the game. They did not say if you could turn it on or turn it off like the EXP share before, so I hope you're able to turn it off, but I would think that if this was just a permanent mechanic that you couldn't turn off, that, if it was fully baked into the game, that, there would be something to compensate for. I would imagine that they're gonna have the EXP curve from Sun and Moon and also Black and White put back in. That was the reason why the EXP share was so much more broken in XY than it was in Sun and Moon, because in XY you got full EXP regardless of what your level was, but in Gen 5 and also Gen 7, if you were higher leveled, then that meant that you got less EXP on the Pokemon that you were defeating. So it was balanced a little bit. It was more like the difference between hard and easy in Sun and Moon, where it was just the difference between easy and very easy in XY. So I'm not too sure how to feel about that yet. I mean, again, it depends if you can turn it on or off. If it is on for the entire game, I'm assuming that, they'll have something to compensate for it, and they've learned from their mistakes. They're not going to make a game, mindlessly easy like they have with XY or Let's Go or anything like that. And yeah, so I'm a little concerned, but not super concerned about that. But when it comes to features that we know can be turned off, autosave, that is something that I believe people noticed a few weeks ago. There's a little screenshot where it said that the game was autosaving. So we know that Sword and Shield will have autosaving, and now we know that you actually can turn that off. A lot of people were concerned about maybe it would mess up soft resets for shiny hunting and other kinds of methods. So now we know we can turn that off. You can go back to manual saving like in the old Pokemon games if you want to. So that's good to know. You can have your manual saving if you're doing the shiny hunting and stuff, and if you're someone who forgets to save a lot, you have auto-saving, so it's the best of both worlds. And the final big info dump today is that natures for your Pokemon will actually be changeable. Now again, they didn't go into too much clarification on this, so I'm assuming that it's just for online battles, not for the main story. And I absolutely love this change because it means that breeding is not going to be as tedious. You had to have like a Ditto with the specific nature, with the specific Everstone to pass it down and have that nature, and it's just gonna be way less tedious. You're still gonna have to IV breed probably, but then again, we also have hyper training now. So now my only hope is that they get rid of the stupid level 100 barrier to hyper training, because you had to be level 100 to actually hyper train and get your IVs maxed out. I'm hoping what they'll do is just like, oh, okay, if you've entered the Hall of Fame, if you've beaten the main story, then you can hyper train. Don't let it be level 100 again, please, because I am not getting any people going to level 100. I am just going to be honest with you right now. So hyper training, I hope they remove that restriction, and if they do, then competitive is going to be accessible to everyone. It's going to be great. I think that this is a great step forward. They've tried for the last few generations to make competitive more and more accessible, and I think they've finally taken the biggest step yet, which is eliminating some steps from breeding, which in my opinion was definitely the most daunting task of getting back into competitive battling. And I'm actually really excited to tell you guys that I will be getting back into competitive in this generation. I'm going to be uploading a lot of Wi-Fi battles this break because I won't have my computer and stuff. I'll be back at home from college and I need something quick and easy to edit. So I'm going to be doing Wi-Fi battles again for the first time since like early Gen 6. Yeah, I fell out a long time ago, but I'm really excited. I actually think that some of the Pokemon getting gate-kept, like Landorus T, is going to make the meta a lot more interesting actually. So I'm really excited to see what the meta is going to be like for this game, and I'm excited that more people than ever before will hopefully be able to join in because they're removing restrictions. And finally, I just want to take a look at what Game Freak said about all this new news. They said, going forward, thinking about the future of Pokemon, we want to prioritize all these new gameplay ideas, new ways to enjoy the game, and want to challenge ourselves at Game Freak to create new ways to enjoy the game. That's really what drove the decision for this new direction. And by that new direction, they're referring to the decision to not have the national dex in the game and not have every single Pokemon in the game. And honestly, this is all they needed to say for months. They didn't need to have that throwaway answer of, oh, higher quality animations, because obviously they got ridiculed a lot for that, and with good reasoning. So I'm really glad that they just put this out there. Finally, just address the issue. They're trying to make Pokemon games more unique going forward, and that's why they can't have all the Pokemon at once. Just kind of eliminating a little bit of work there. Thank you, Game Freak. You finally learned how to give a good PR statement. Thank you. And they again also reiterated that the Pokemon that were cut for Sword and Shield will be back in the future. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody, but they're obviously going to be rotating Pokemon in every upcoming game from now on. Which again, I think is fine. I think it actually makes the meta for competitive battling a lot more interesting in my opinion, because you're not going to have the same Pokemon always occupying the high tiers and the low tiers and stuff like that. You're actually going to have some pretty big shifts from game to game now. But yeah, that's gonna do it for all of our news on Pokemon Sword and Shield today. Honestly, I wish they put this like in a trailer, like get more people back on your side, You don't just have this in an obscure Game Informer thing. Maybe they will put in a trailer. It's supposed to be something on the 4th of October, I believe. So hopefully they'll get it out there, have it become more common knowledge than what we know right now. But again, this is just really, really exciting news, and I'm really glad to share it with you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Has your hope for Sword and Shield been reinvigorated? Do you need something a little bit more? I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'll see you guys next time.